We're having some technical difficulties. I realized that the mic was muted the entire time I was trying to play that song. And now we've lost Bearsnake, and we just got Dotta up. So I'm just going to cancel this Wizard Wednesday. Talk to you next week.
Hey, did you already introduce me? All I heard, I think I'm like lagging. I just heard Mulder and Scully. What are their names? Oh man, I can't even remember.
X-Files.
Yeah, it was the X-Files. And I had it muted the whole time.
Oh, so that wasn't me rugging.
Yeah, no, we all left up. Anyway, it is Wednesday, July 26th, 2023, and today is our weekly cult meeting, Wizard Wednesday. Channeling in from the Quantum Downs, this is the Black Goat of the Wood, Elf J Trul, and joining me is...
Dotta, hello.
And the hairy bear.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Let's go.
LFG.
Who believes in aliens?
I'm going to reconnect because I just know I'm going to get rugged. Be right back.
Okay.
Yep, okay, see ya.
Hey, Elf. Elf, I've missed the past 2 Wizard Wednesdays. How awful is that?
Where the hell have you been, Bear?
I've been all over the place, just trying to pick up that signal from space.
Well, you know what? That actually brings us to our first cult question of the day. From Young Wizzy, he's asking, who from the team would be the one to make first contact when the aliens land and why? And Bearsnake, I think it's obviously
That's what I was going to say too.
You are the one who opens the doors. So do you accept this mission? And in fact, is that where have you been?
will open the spaceship doors. There's no doubt. If they even have doors. Do they believe in doors? Do they have doors? I don't know. But if they do, no, I think I'm very open. A lot of people believe like you have to be open to an idea or a thing to be able to receive it. I'm very open about aliens. I want to believe. Okay. I don't even think these things are extraterrestrial. Don't even get me started, or get me started. Whatever you want.
Yeah, no, let's get you started. Let's just dive in. So
no, we got to do cult questions first, and then we'll do aliens.
Okay, all right.
Because there's actually a lot of questions about aliens from the cult.
All right.
Okay.
But I'm going to actually start with an alien question. And Dotta, this one's for you. Do you know what instrument this is?
Theremin.
Damn it, Bear! I said Dotta.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say thylacine, and I know that that's not it because that's like the old that's like the Tasmanian devil, right? But,
yeah, like the prehistoric wolf.
yeah.
But Bear got it. Okay. Yeah, it's a theremin. Okay, other alien questions. Sharon. Well, first, Sharon wants us to know that she is not an alien, as if we believe that.
Liar.
And then the next question. And then her question is, have you ever had an alien encounter?
That's Sharon's question?
That's Sharon's question.
Wow, do you not believe that she would ask that question, Dotta?
Oh, man. I haven't had an alien encounter, but I've totally seen the flying orbs. I was picking my dogs up from the dog border. I was just like out in Texas. And then I was in this place where there's like no like airport or anything. Like I've been a million times. And these like 2 fighter jets fly over, and and I was like, oh, that's weird. Why are there fighter jets like that? You don't see that every day there. And then they fly back over me, and trailing right in front of them was this like, I can't describe it. It was just like a little orb right in between like the 2 noses of these jets. Like you'd almost think that there was like a string attaching them, and it was like not big enough for like a man to be inside. It was just like flying, and they were like trailing.
Wait, how low were they?
I don't know numbers,
but I mean, like you could you could see the jets clearly,
so clearly.
Oh, so it must have been loud.
I guess they were jets. Yeah, it's not like they were like right overhead. Like they were a bit farther out, so it was just like you just like see them for a bit, and then like they kind of like go behind the trees. It was really so. Like for me, I totally think that the orbs are real, but I don't think that they're necessarily aliens. But like it was so weird. It was so weird.
And you said there was like a string connecting the two?
I'm saying that it was as if, right? Maybe there was, and that's all I saw. 2 fighter jets with a string connected between the nose.
Okay, all that tells me is that their communications broke down and they were using the old soup can method.
Yeah, exactly. Probably just gassing each other up.
I could never get those damn cans to work.
Yeah, it never worked. You got to wax the string though, and apparently put an orb on it, and it works just fine.
I think the trick was it's like I never had a string longer than like 20 feet, so you just start yelling into it, and then you scare the person.
Yeah.
Okay, Tabitha is asking, is the U.S. Congress in fact really talking about the arrival of shadow hats and not aliens?
No comment.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to go into a skiff to discuss that.
Bear has no comment. I do have a comment, and
Me
I'm
and Bear
glad...
just learned that word skiff today. We both
Yeah, you can't talk about it. You have to be in a skiff. Do you know what a skiff is?
Yeah, we Googled what a skiff was because we didn't know.
Tell us what a skiff is.
Secure. It's like a secure room. I don't know what it's actually stands for.
It's basically a padded what do you call them? The big metal containers, like a big.
It's like where Congress goes to like see the videos of the UFOs because like they it's like a secure room where like there's no radio waves. You can't bring your phone. You can't bring anything. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Tabitha, I think, if it hasn't been clear, I've been really trying to not so subtly hint that the shadow hats are in fact the deep state, a shadowy cabal that has clearly orchestrated a distraction with this UAP UFO nonsense mass hysteria.
Nonsense.
And
Nonsense.
We don't need to be aggressive about it.
I would implore all of you not to fall for it. The shadow hats are clearly trying to hide the truth from us with these lies about aliens. Area 51 is clearly trying to contain the quantum shadow. The cover up is so obvious, but I'm on to them. I don't know about you. I think trying to hide the truth from a magical cult of wizards is an exercise in futility. And so I think Chetta and I are going to organize a Storm the Quantum Shadow campaign ASAP.
July 6th.
Yeah. So yeah, Tabitha, you're definitely onto something.
Alien invasion is a very convenient moral panic now that the pandemic is over, right? Like, I mean, it's one of those things that like you can really only use it once, I suppose. But they can drag this on for like a long time. Be like, oh, the aliens don't want to meet you because like you're not ready for their awareness. You know what I mean?
No, this is not a one and done thing. They've done this several times in the past. It's an archetype at this point.
If you want to meet the aliens, you have to sign up for WorldCoin.
Yeah, exactly. Scan your eyeballs.
Coincidence? Okay, Maddow is asking, what are your favorite depictions of the aliens, like in film or any kind of media? Bear, it's so funny because I know exactly what yours is. So,
ooh, what is it? Well,
it's Alien, right?
Yeah, Alien, but like more specific. Sure, the aliens; those are scary. The xenomorphs, or same franchise, different title is Prometheus. Those really big humanoid ones. Like, I love the idea. I'm not saying I believe this, but I love the concept, story-wise, of like some other extraterrestrial being coming here and like throwing their DNA in, and then like that's how we came to be. That's kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah, that concept was actually explored in Star Trek in a few episodes, I think. Because the question is like, why do all the aliens look humanoid? And it's because there was this like sort of seed race that seeded the entire galaxy with this specific DNA, and so that's why they all look kind of the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, super cool. And
I also like District 9. I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, it was just a great movie.
1000%. That's definitely in my top 3 for sure.
What are yours?
Well, I really like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, just because that was the film that sort of solidified the classic like almond-eyed gray alien design. I don't know if there was a depiction in any other media before that film, because
What
that's
of aliens?
Of the gray alien with the almond eyes.
I mean they were basing that. Listen, they've been around since the 30s, Elf.
Yeah,
I can't believe
there's engravings of those on the pyramids, Elf. So that's not the first time.
Elf. Elf.
Wait, Dotta, say that again.
I said there's engravings of the Greys on the pyramids, so that can't be the very first.
Wait, really?
Elf, I can't believe you don't believe in aliens. I'm shocked.
Wait, dude, hold up. We're talking about alien films, and then now you're talking about aliens on pyramids.
All right, sorry. If we want to stick it to films, then fine. Yeah.
Well, let's just don't get distracted. Okay, Dotta, find me this image of a gray on a pyramid. I got to see this.
I'll dig it up.
Okay. And then secondly, my second favorite is that film Annihilation.
Oh, love it.
So good.
Dude, I just watched it 2 weeks ago.
It's just such a refreshing and unique take on aliens, and like, the philosophical subject matter is like something that green hat wizards would really be into. And I love that film. I think it's kind of underrated, to be honest.
It was, they was it Alex Garland, I think, wrote and directed it. He's also the one that wrote and directed Ex Machina, about like the AI cyborg. Another great film. Yeah, it was like it was. I don't know if people in the cult saw it, but like the end is really, really trippy. It gets super duper weird. It did not do well in the box office, but there's like a cult following, and yeah, it's like there's like movies that I think could be considered not great, but for me, they just when like something just checks the boxes for you in terms of like themes and how it's shot, like that movie, that like Aliens and Prometheus and District 9 and Annihilation, they just like check the box.
Totally agree. Dotta, do you have a favorite alien?
Okay, in third place would be Men in Black.
Oh, okay. So good.
So one of the things I love about that, right, is they really lean into the assumption that if you have like sort of faster than light travel, you're going to have all sorts of different types of species from all over the universes, right? Number two, what about Avatar?
That's good.
That gives you a bit of like a utopian, right, view of this, like, you've got these massive, muscly, like really athletic bodies that are really beautiful. But first place, the softest place in my heart would be just E.T., right? Like, who doesn't want to have like a little buddy, that you can put in your bike who makes you fly? Like, please.
I feel like me and my. Oh, go ahead.
That's such a Dotta alien movie for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like one of the most classic Spielberg movies, like where the villain is like you just see the keys on the guy's hip and you think he's bad, and then it's not until like the middle of the movie you realize he's actually okay. I always think about me and my son as like the relationship between E.T. Like if he's sick, I start feeling sick. If he's happy, I'm incredibly happy. So like that's my like relation to that movie.
Let's quickly give an honorable mention to the 1980 classic Mac and Me, which
yes. I love Mac and Me so much.
I will not. I am not voting that on honorable mention.
Okay, if it gave us nothing, it gave us the amazing wheelchair girl falling off of a cliff beam.
Oh my gosh, I love Mac and Me. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the duck movie?
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. Isn't Howard an alien or no?
He is, yeah.
So does that get honorable mention?
Sure, I think so. And if we're talking honorable mentions, let's not forget the TV series Alf.
Yeah,
good.
Classic.
Very good. Definitely had an elf doll.
Yeah. Okay. More alien stuff. I think that's all the alien questions. But I want to come back to aliens. Let's just finish the other questions. Papa Foster's asking, any updates on questing?
Dotta, we pause it for now. I think that like to do questing, I want to make sure that we have rewards that are like fun, meaningful, not inflationary, And I think that, like, we've had some ideas around like questing that are just sort of rudimentary, and nothing that we came up with I really loved. And so, yeah, it's on ice for now.
Yep. Okay, and then Snoop Dogg is asking. Actually, this might be for you, Bear. When will the release of the? What's the release date of the comic book? And how does the timeline work for comics? I assume you need to print them ages before, etc. So actually, Bear, if you've got a lot to say about the comic, if you want to
Yeah,
just
I
dive
was
in,
going
go
to
for it.
give a bit of an update. Yeah, it's been spending a lot of time with Titan over the past couple months. I mean, this is like everything from copy editing to print layout to the paper choice, marketing. So yeah, and just before I even get started, like shout out to Nalgene, who's been doing an incredible job overseeing production with Riley and making sure everything's getting done on time. I can't tell you. I mean, that first comic we put together, like that was really put together with like Scotch tape. We had no idea what we were doing, um, and we got it done, and we were really proud of it. I think because we're trying to sort of elevate the quality and even more importantly, distribution. It's amazing how complicated it is to put together comic books, especially considering how little money you make from them, if you even ever make money from them.
Yep.
So we're spending a lot of time. It's been great having Titan, right? I mean, this is why it took so long to get a deal is to like find a proper publisher. They're based out of the UK. They actually own the biggest comic book store in London. I forget the name of it. I bet our UK friends know the name of it. But anyway, so we're spending a lot of time. Okay, so when it comes to marketing and when it comes to timeline, the dates really are there's a pre-sale window, and that pre-sale window starts on August 24th, I believe. It's either the 24th or the 26th. And so when that happens, there will be an ad that runs in like the catalog that all the comic book stores look at, right? And so they look at every month. This thing is called Diamond Comics. It's about like 400 to 500 pages deep, and every month one comes out. And the comic book stores look through it. They look at all the different comic books coming out. They decide what comics they're going to order, what comics they're not going to order. And so Titan has, I don't know, depending on the month, between like 10 and 15 books that are coming out that month, right? And so they pre-order, this is where we're spending, me, Locke, Jitsi, and Nalgene are spending a lot of time working with Titan to figure out what is the simplest way to get the cult activated, make it easy for them to call in and order the comic. What kind of sort of digital element are we putting together? There's some fun ideas that we're trying to do with like digital or like NFT comic book cover variants. Very different from what we did with with Coinbase NFT, RIP. Um, and so yeah, so that window is about a month long. It starts at the end of August. People, we'll make it really easy for anyone to call in. And we're going to try to gamify it a little bit. That'll be fun. But I think it's a big opportunity for us because this is the first mass distributed like physical item. I'm sure a lot of people saw what the Pudgy Penguins did with their stuffed animals. I think this is our version of that, right? And what's great is I feel like there's a ton of alignment between people who just love comic books and the cult as it stands now. And so I think there's a ton of alignment. So that's coming up. That window is about a month long, like I said, and then we go into print shortly after that month. And then we go to New York Comic Con, where we'll be a part of Titan's booth. And then I think the comic goes live I think the third week of November. People will, they'll be in stores ready to go. So it's a ton of work, but it's very exciting. And I will say, judging from Titan's reaction of the art and Riley, and looking at Diamond Comics, I feel extremely good about the quality and that we're putting out there. I feel like we're in the top 15% of like what looks good just in terms of product.
Riley is so damn good.
He's so
I
good.
can't
Sick.
believe
So
you got him, Bear.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like that's one of the reasons that Titan signed with us is because we had Riley. I mean, it's the same thing, when we end up going and really having solid discussions with distributors for the show, is like we have Derek. Like Riley is our Derek, but in comic books, and it makes all the difference in the world. And so, Titan also got a really big cover artist that we can't talk about yet. To do a physical alternative cover, which also helps drive sales. The other thing is we have all these really fun hooks. Like Titan was saying, well, if you have a video game codes like crazy supercharged sales. Well, I'm like, well, we actually do have a game. It's called Forgotten Runeverse. So we're putting in a code so people who know nothing about us, these stores are like, okay, well, I'm going to buy a comic that costs me money. How can I buy something that I can, have the best chance of selling? Well, having a code in a comic that's worth real dollars, in terms of like items in the game, that's like a big needle mover. So we're going to have like, all these codes in every single comic that's worth X amount of dollars. We're also, advertising that like, Derek Kolstad is developing a television show based on this series. So there are all these, and then there's more. So, but there's all these really fun hooks that I think all the normies out there that love comic books are going to really flock to. So it's exciting.
And well, one will be recruiting everyone to recruit all their friends to go to the comic store and buy it, right? So part of the reason for even doing the comic book is that it is this sort of it's like an IP path to giving a signal to all of the other gatekeepers up the chain for like the show, most importantly, that there's like demand for the Forgotten Runes IP, and so having a good showing for this first issue is like really important to kind of like set the momentum for everything else. Do you want to add something to that, Bear?
No, I think. Well, I mean, sure. Like I said, comic books. You don't go into comic books to make a bunch of money. You go into comic books to prove that there is a audience for the stories and the characters that you're creating. We obviously have proven that within the Web3 community. But as we all know, there's a lot of hesitancy and sort of skepticism around our world and, oh, it's just financialization and that's why they like it. And clearly we as a project don't really fall into that trap, but development executives at Netflix don't know that. And so having a successful comic book, I have specific number goals that I want to reach. I'm not ready to share those yet, but I think this is really important. This underlines the demand and interest from the regular world. So it'll be very important. We're going to make it as very, very easy. The comic books are $4.99. I think that's MSRP. So that's like how much they'll cost. I think we may even put them on sale a little bit, question mark. And the other fun thing that I think the Web3 will be excited about is, I know that we've sort of talked about this vaguely, but we will be giving royalties to the characters that show up in these comics. And I'm trying to structure the way that works similar to how the Screen Actors Guild works, right? So there's like lead actors versus versus sort of secondary characters versus appearances in the background. Elf did such a great job writing in and making sure that Riley and Joe, the writer, packed as many characters in as possible. And so I think this is the basis for our project is people who own our characters, people who contribute, the world building. There's benefits to that, and so this comic book is going to be, our first shot at being able to do that. So it's very, very exciting.
Yeah, and I'll give kind of the like caveats or guardrails for that, which is, in these comic books we are using stories from the Book of Lore, and so we're going to figure out a way to make it such that the people who contributed IP to these comic books or have like some degree of compensation for like what they contributed. Now that said, I think that like we are of course always very careful around US securities laws So in order to receive this money, you will probably have to KYC, right? Like sign a paper saying, I allow for this IP to be used in some sort of like traditional meat space way. I mean, I think we'll try to make it as Web3 as we can, but in terms of like the legalities, you'll probably have to like give someone your real name in order to get that money, unfortunately. But that said, I think it is a way that we can like test, um, well, basically the thesis for the project, which is that like people who create content that supports the IP should get paid for it. I think that one of the things that we're seeing is that it's not super likely that we're going to make a huge amount of profit for this. In fact, I think that like the revenue that we're going to be getting for like the first three issues is maybe a tenth or something, like a very small percentage of kind of the amount of costs that Magic Machine has put into it. So I think that what is most likely is we're not actually like that said, we don't want to have to wait until the comic book becomes profitable before anyone else sort of like before we get to like test just really the thesis for the whole business. And so I don't mind thinking of it as a bit of a marketing expense to kind of have Magic Machine eat some of the costs and then like still just have an opportunity for people who created content to get paid, even if it's not like, you know, uh, tens of thousands of dollars. It's still just symbolically a really important part of the process to have this complete through line, which is like you have this character, you wrote lore about it, we used the stories, and then now you're getting paid.
Did I get rugged or did Dotta get rugged?
I can hear him.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. I got to leave and come back.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it's an important part of the process to like to pull the thread all the way through. And like if it's not life-changing money yet, fine. But still, at least we like tested the entire flow. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. Excited to get the comic book out.
Yeah, I just want to say that like the best thing to me, the best thing about the comic is that it's just a big proof of concept. It's a proof of concept creatively and business wise. Creatively, it shows that yes, you can indeed create a book, a story, a TV show script. You can create this on a decentralized creative community. You can do this in a decentralized way. It is totally possible. There's a lot of skeptics out there who think it's not, but it is, and the comic book proves it. And number two, like Dotta and Bear is saying, it's also a proof of concept that you can take that decentralized creative effort and distribute a royalty on it. And so even though like royalty receivers may, you might only get $5. I don't know. But that's not really the point. The point is to prove that this model works. And if it does, then we can scale up. So that's very exciting. Okay, Bear, you're back. Can you hear us?
I'm back.
You got anything else to say on the comic?
I'm psyched. I'm like the art. I mean, forget everything else besides like, just for a second, like you guys are going to be so impressed with the pages.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just like I said. There's like these like just these diamond distribution catalogs that come out every month. I just paged through the last month, and I swear, maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm not. Our shit is freaking dope. It literally is, to me, is like in the top 5-10% of quality. I know.
Yeah, the we've got a lot going on at Magic Machine, and so like I'm not always like hand reviewing every single thing, especially because Bear's on the comic book so tightly. And so what'll happen is like a lot of pages will go by before I even look at it. And then like maybe a couple months ago, I was asking, I was like, oh, where are the pages and their Dropbox or whatever. And I was flipping through them, and I was like, what the crap? These are amazing. They're so good, like better than I was even expecting. So whatever, I don't want to play it up too much, but I'm just so excited to get them out, even though it's the timeline now is still like November, right?
Well, yeah, like I think there'll be sneak peeks beforehand. We're also talking to Riley about doing some cool promo stuff where he does like live drawing. But like, yeah, the comic books fully won't be in hand physically until mid-November. But we'll also have copies in Comic-Con. So we'll be in New York. Some of us will be in New York. We'll hang out, and you'll be able to see some stuff. So yeah, it's exciting. Oh, and then the cadence of the comics is once per month. So as soon as we drop one third week in November, then for 5 months straight, a new one will drop. Right. This is why it's so much work. It's like, okay, just, we need comic book cover variants for each comic. Everything, the print needs to be done right. I'm looking at like also advertising. Like there's people that are interested in buying interior pages and back cover pages. I mean, last on issue number 0, we got Coinbase to cough up a significant amount of money, which was helpful to cover our costs. So I'll be pushing that. But I think there'll be 5, and then after the 5, there's a pause, and then we bind those first 5 together into like an actual like softback graphic novel, which will then be distributed in even more stores like Barnes and Nobles. I think there's still bookstores left in the world, and if they do exist, that will find its way there. So it's very complicated, a lot of work, but I think we're going to pull it off.
Wag me. Okay, before we get back to aliens, I missed one question from Feckless. It's a question for you, Dotta. How many pull-ups can you do?
6.
Right.
I'm trying to get to 10. I've been working on doing a muscle ups, which I can't do, and I'm like,
what's a muscle up?
So a muscle up is like, so you get at the bar, right? You kind of swing your feet a bit, and then you like push, like you do a pull up, but then you like push your body up.
Oh,
right? Like
gotcha.
your hands are under you.
Yeah.
And I can get like to my chest, but I can't quite do a muscle up yet.
I'm on my heavier side, so I can't really do a ton anymore, but I used to be able to do 20 in a row, which was boss.
Bear, I kind of feel like you can't even do a single one.
Oh my.
You could do 20 pull-ups in a row? No way.
Well, 2 years ago I could when I was in shape.
You could not do 20 pull-ups when we started this project.
It was no. Well, then okay, actually, it's 3 years ago because that's when I was in shape. It was 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
You were 3 years ago.
You saw me destroy Elf in
but 20 pull-ups is like that's not.
Oh my god!
Like
you don't believe me? Who are you?
I guess I believe you, but
you haven't seen Skinny Bear.
Wednesday.
You haven't seen Skinny Bear.
20 pull-ups is a lot. I'm impressed. Okay, I believe you. I guess that's a lot.
Thank you.
Bear, by the way, I'm going to destroy you in arm wrestling next time I see you.
Just literally, I'm sitting here right now.
I think that's going to happen, but I'm excited to watch. Don't get together unless I'm there.
Okay. No, Elf, get on a goddamn plane right now. I will destroy
you. Okay. All right. Let's jump back to aliens. So Bear, I think you accused me of not believing in aliens. Let me just open with this. I think that it would be nearly inconceivable to believe that there's no life in the rest of the entire universe or even the galaxy. So, yeah, there's got to be life out there. But believing in life out there versus believing that they have visited us, that's 2 entirely different questions. And if the question is, have we been visited by aliens? I defer to the Carl Sagan burden of proof, which is extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And I have not seen anything even approaching extraordinary evidence, not in today's congressional hearing, in no congressional hearing. There's not been a single shred of testimony from anyone that I would qualify as extraordinary. I've never seen a photo or a video that is extraordinary. So, have they visited? I don't know, but I've certainly never seen anything that has made me believe that they have visited our planet. That's my current take. What do you think of that?
Did you just say there's no way in hell they visited our planet?
I've said that I have seen no evidence that suggests that.
Okay, forget the evidence. Do you believe? Do you not believe? Tell me right now.
No, because I haven't seen the evidence.
Oh my god, what am I gonna do with you? We have like senior commanders who fly the most advanced aircraft in the world talking about how they're seeing with their own eyes. There's multiple pilots. They're talking about back of the carrier, the radar. Like you have multiple points of
and yet
acknowledgement.
None of them thought to pull out their phone or
they did.
advanced surveillance equipment to share anything.
What are you talking about? If you listen to
I'm talking about photographic or video evidence. I don't care
that's
about
what
their
I'm
testimony.
talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Dotta,
I haven't seen it.
You have to back me up. Did you not see the article back in New York Times a couple years ago? They literally have it on film, and they're actually flipping through all the different IR filters.
No, he thinks that's a duck. Elf said that was a duck.
Bear, I see a tiny little blurry dot in all of it. There are literally 4 billion people on this planet with smartphones in their pockets. Everybody has a camera. And we still have not seen anything that is obviously an extraterrestrial, an alien craft, nothing. There are infinite amounts of phones and infinite ways to share anything that those phones take on the internet. And yet still nothing. Like, explain that.
What do you mean? Woz just posted the Tic Tac.
A TikTok, Bear? A Tic Tac.
Tic Tac. The Tic Tac video.
What are you, a boomer congressman?
Yeah, we just went over this. Did you not watch the hearing?
I did watch the hearing. Okay, guys, I don't think you listened to a word I said. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. You thought that hearing supplied extraordinary evidence.
No, those are just words.
Exactly.
But these are people, like, why do these, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Nobody knows. That's my point. Like, nothing have I seen is even approaching something that is definitively an extraterrestrial craft or being.
I agree with you. That's true.
All right. We're on the same page.
But I think that there are plenty of people who have said that they have seen, both with their eyes and with instrumentation, that they've seen vehicles that move in ways that are like far beyond our science and our technology. And it's not just like one person, right? It's not just like one person said at one time. It's actually like quite widespread. Dozens and dozens and dozens of men in the Air Force and the Navy, commercial pilots, are all basically saying like, yeah, we see this, right? So I think that's even what you see maybe for the hearing today, which is, well, okay. So there was one of the witnesses who was saying that he has heard that they're like extraterrestrial, but a lot of the other two were basically saying that there are vehicles that are outside of our like human capabilities that they are seeing on a regular basis. So like, what do you do with that? That, like, you could say, okay, it's a big psyop, right? These guys are like, they're plants, right? They're government plants, and this is a psyop because like COVID's over and they need like a new power structure, right? Like, that's safe choice.
That's insane. Look, okay, you guys are bringing up this eyewitness testimony as your main line.
No. They have video. They have the
Wait, have we seen this video? Has this video been released?
So, of course, even if they released a video, you could say, well, have they released the LiDAR data or whatever, right? Like, no, none of us have looked at the LiDAR data.
Okay, so you're just trusting that they have video that is indisputable evidence.
Well, I'm saying that they've released videos that show, like, are you familiar with, like, what is it? The 5-factor, like, what is it? 4-factor characteristics of, that you basically have these vehicles that are able to move. They're able to like change direction really quickly. I actually don't know what the 5 factors are. Someone will have to tell me.
Okay, but you're saying that this video that they talked about that we haven't seen adheres to these 5 factors that Earth vehicles cannot.
No, I'm saying that like the NASA hearing that they just had 3 months ago released that video where it shows this vehicle, an orb basically floating across the land, right? You can watch it. It was released by NASA, where they say, we have this and we have it on radar and we have it on infrared, and like, we don't know what it is. Like 3 different instruments, right? Like, NASA stands up and says that. Now, look, if you want to say NASA's full of shit, like, I'm happy to like agree, like, fine, right? But there are videos. There are like videos that people say this is what is.
And my point again is that literally every single video, every single one, without exception, shows us blurry, grainy, indecipherable,
Look at
But like, okay,
the video audio box. Look at the video audio box just posted Secret Tower.
but
Not
like, here's the
grainy.
thing. What if they are like, what if we're like their zoo, right? Like if they actually do have the ability to have vehicles that that can go underwater at the same speed as above with no visible propulsion or like, emission, right? Like they actually can move vehicles through gravity. Like clearly their technology is better than us, right? So what if they don't want to be seen, right? Have you heard like the Sentinel theory? So it's really fun. So there's this island, right? There's this island off of like India,
The
North Sentinel
Sentinelese.
Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The Sentinelese, where they like anybody who comes there, they like if you come with a helicopter, they like think they're scared and they like throw spears or whatever, and they're actually like protected by India, and so you're not it's not legal for you to go visit the Sentinelese because like it's illegal according to India. Like in India will sort of like prosecute or stop you. Like the Indian military protects that. Like people send like the aliens are sending their helicopters like come check us out, but like we're actually being protected by this like other organization, this other like country that we don't even know about. Not even country, like alien beings.
Are you talking about Guardians of the Galaxy? Because that's sweet.
Okay, yeah, guys. I mean, but you're sitting here like spinning off these really fanciful theories, and sure, it's fun to think about. But like, again, you need some kind of reliable evidence to believe in any of this stuff. And to this date,
Why
including
is Navy Commander Dave Favor not like reliable?
Wait, what?
Why is like Navy Commander David Favor like not reliable, right?
Because there is an enormous history of eyewitness testimony being extremely flawed. I mean, this is
advanced aircraft where you're seeing in the like. There's literally multiple pilots.
Yeah, they have video. So like we can contest and say they're faking it. Like fine, but they have video from Favor's story.
You guys keep talking about this theoretical video.
What are you talking about? Theoretical video? What?
Tower audio box just posted it.
And that video is exactly what I've been saying the whole time. It's vague. It's ambiguous. It's not clearly alien. It could be 1,000 different things.
All right, I'm flying to Vegas. I'm going to beat you in an arm wrestling match. Does that prove there's aliens?
But it's both. This is what I'm saying. It's not just like his eyewitness testimony. It's his eyewitness testimony and the 3 other guys he was with who've been in the Army for like 20 years. Right? They have like successful careers. They're saying that like we're being serious about this. We want to like keep our jobs. This is what we saw visually with our eyes and our instrumentation, and that instrumentation video has been released. So like, what do you do with that?
You certainly don't jump to your own conclusions, and I'm sorry, but that does not say it's obvious aliens to me.
Oh, fine. But how about it's obvious that there are vehicles that move beyond any known laws of physics?
How about it's obvious that these videos are just catching sights of things that it might not even be videos. It could be literally anything, or it might not be vehicles.
I guess that part of the testimony from Favor and his guys is that they saw it with their own like regular eyes.
Yeah, okay, but then I'd come back to eyewitness testimony is notoriously flawed. You've got things like memory reconstruction.
You're going in circles, though. You're going in circles. You're going in circles. They have video and they're seeing it with their eyes. What else do you want? Do you want them to get on it and write it?
My position is extremely simple here. What I want is indisputable photographic or video evidence. That's all I want, and nobody has supplied that.
That's true. You have
it's that simple.
You just want the aliens to come, talk to you.
Yeah, I do. I want them to be real. I really do.
Flight of the Navigator. Flight of the Navigator should have been your favorite alien.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, even Tad. I think Tad is getting sick of us talking about aliens. He said, "Are we going to keep doing this?"
We don't have anything else to talk about. So.
Yeah. But before it started, we were like, let's just argue about aliens.
And we're like, we could never do that. And now we're literally yelling at each other. Well, listen, I want you. I hope when the aliens come, I'm going to be like, yo, you got to kill this dude Elf. He didn't believe.
Oh.
I've been on your side.
Rude there. No. There's a comment from Maple Dad in here, and he says, I would not have guessed that Elf J Trul would be the alien skeptic on the team. I'll tell you what, Maple Dad, I'm actually the biggest skeptic of practically everything. This is why I love art, because I believe that humanity does have a sort of like a spiritual vacuum that needs to be filled with something, and people fill that with religion or conspiracy theories or aliens, and for me it's art. That's what fills that sort of hole for me. But other than that, yeah, I generally trend towards skepticism with nearly everything.
You're even skeptical of me beating you in an arm wrestling match after I beat you. Did that actually happen?
Or did it not happen? Bear, but there's a thing called exercising that I have been involved in the past
ever since I beat you.
ever since you beat me, yeah.
What do we think about the idea that the machine elves, when you take DMT, is basically linking you up with this like outside consciousness?
Dude,
okay,
what?
I'm so glad you brought that up, Dotta. Yeah, I mean, if okay, first of all, are you talking about the time that we all had dinner at that Italian restaurant and I told you about tripping on mushrooms?
Well, I just know that you have tripped on mushrooms, but no, I think that this is a real theory that people have, which is so the idea with the Greys and the lore, right, is that they basically see their bodies as they're very like collectivist, and that they see their bodies really as just like a mechanism for like the collective conscious. So that's why they don't really care if they crash and we take their bodies, because the body is just like a vehicle in and of itself. And so there are basically theories that a big part of kind of like communication, right? When you hear the stories of like, the children's school in whatever it was, South Africa, they don't say like, oh, they spoke to me with their vocal cords. They're like, they spoke to me like telepathically, right? Like telepathy is like a huge part of the lore of like the Greys. And so part of kind of the idea of, the link that a lot of people are kind of thinking about is that, well, when you go and you meet the machine elves, maybe that's actually the same consciousness of these like other dimensional beings. Thoughts?
I think you're onto something, Dotta.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, I mean, oftentimes I've eaten psychedelic mushrooms a lot in my life, and I think everybody should. I think it's a rite of passage that every human being should experience. But yeah, often when I do it, I get this sort of sensation that there are beings on the other side of the veil, and they are desperately trying to communicate with us. But there's something in our brains that just block that from happening. And what psychedelics do is they sort of thin out that veil, so you start to get these sort of just very subtle hints of this action behind the veil. Now, do I actually 100% believe that there are beings on the other side of the veil? No, I actually think that human brains, through millions of years of evolution, are exhibiting a phenomenon called pareidolia, which is this tendency to reconstruct random patterns of meaninglessness into meaning. And often human brains reconstruct random data into human figures, because that's what our brains are more highly tuned to understand, other humans. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what's actually happening on a sort of scientific, rational level. But I still think it's really fun to put these mystical, aesthetic, romantic images on top of all that stuff. And to me, that's where art and a lot of what we do in Forgotten Runes comes from.
It's really interesting. The DMT thing is very interesting to me because like when Roland Griffiths basically did his study on DMT, it was something like 25% of the atheists that he studied after they like took the psychedelic, they weren't atheists anymore. Like there was like a huge number of people that sort of like it was something like 3/4 of them met beings after taking DMT, and like a huge percentage of them basically thought that those beings were actually real after the fact. And so I think that's really interesting because I don't I it's hard to understand why that particular substance makes you feel like you're meeting someone.
Have you
along
done
the way.
DMT?
No, I have not. You
No
want to say
comment.
online? No
No
comment. Yeah.
comment.
So what do you guys think about like why that's happening? Do you think it really just it's purely physiological, right? It just registers this the God complex in your brain, and that's why you think you meet someone?
Well, it's like I just said. There's a phenomenon called pareidolia, and it's the tendency for the brain to interpret random bits of data into human figures or anthropomorphized figures, um, and I think that's what the human brain does. Because our brains are supercomputers that have a bias towards anthropomorphized uh, interpretations of data. It's why you can look at a human face and look at an eyebrow raise like 1 millimeter and read an entirely different emotion on that face. Like that is what our brains are meant to do. It's a computer that has it's been programmed that way, more or less. So when you're tripping balls, you're getting like all this new stimuli flooding into your brain. It's gonna like err on the side of interpreting that as a god or an angel or a machine elf or whatever. That's what I think is happening.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay, speaking of things that don't exist, actually, let me rephrase that. We went over things that don't exist. Now let's talk quickly end with something that does exist, and that is 3D Forgotten Runes. um, and
Yeah,
so,
does that exist, Elf?
yeah, exactly.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. So yeah, last week I foolishly said, "Yeah, it's gonna be done next Wednesday," and now it's next Wednesday, and where the fuck are they, Elf? So yeah, I mean, look, I got to get better about estimating when things are going to be done and not announcing things prematurely. Nearly an impossible task, but I'm working on it. So just let me go over like what's happening, and it's like I'm going to give you a list of things that we're working on, and it's not because I'm whining or complaining. It's really just like radical transparency. I'm just gonna tell you what's going on.
It's called building in public.
If for no other reason, it's just
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Sorry, Bear, what'd you say?
I said it's called building in public.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I've said, the collection itself is done. It's ready to go. If you want yours, just DM me and we'll send it to you. What's not done is the website, and it's just a 3D website is unbelievably complex, especially when you're dealing with literally 10,000 assets. Um, And so, just here's a few of the things we've been wrestling with for months. Number one, the shaders, the lights, the camera, the render itself. All of this stuff has to be perfectly tuned just to make these 3D assets look good. It's like you can render things in a dozen different ways, and then you have a dozen different ways to construct a material to render. And then there's lights that affect the entire look of all those different iterations. And then there's getting your camera just right to affect all the different iterations. And it's so, we went through like probably 200 different combinations of all these different components to get the exact right one. And I mean, we're still changing it to this day. We've had to hire people from Upwork. Dotta, I don't know how many people you had to like search through just to help us render on 3JS.
But it looks so good now.
But it looks so good now. Yes, exactly. So, okay, so that's just one thing that's taken months to do. Secondly, squashing bugs on 10,000 character rigs. It's like we've got like 90 different heads and 120 different bodies. There's thousands of combinations that these can be reassembled into. And so it's like, one head may look good with 20 bodies, but then when you put this other body with it, it looks like crap. And so point is just like getting all of those assets synced up to where every single combination looks great. Freaking difficult. But again, they look amazing, and I think we've got it done. Secondly, getting 10,000 different characters to animate properly. So it's like, we have an animation where the character is just standing there with their hands on their hips, but all of a sudden we discover, oh crap, for all the characters who have capes, the hand is cutting through the cape. And so now we have to readjust it. And it's just like constant little things like that are rearing their heads.
Excuses.
I know. I'm
just kidding.
Listen, again, this whole list is just for like fun, really. It's not me complaining.
No, you're not complaining. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So, next, making sure that you can download every rig for all the different applications that these characters will be used in. So, like, we've got I would say almost a dozen different like really strong applications that we're going to use these in, like just to begin with. And it's like you have to have a specific technical specification met for every single application. Some characters require T-pose, or some applications require T-pose. Some require A-pose. Some require tune shaders. Some require PBR shader. It's like some require GLTF files. Some require FBX. And so we're trying to reconstruct all 10,000 characters to meet all of these specifications for all these different apps. It's like when you go to download, you're not just going to get one asset. You're going to probably get like 3 or 4 different assets to be deployed into all these different applications. So just making sure all of those work is a huge task. Not to mention just the graphic design and the overall layout of the site itself. Like that alone takes time. And so, we've been going back and forth on that a lot. We're also building some interactivity on the characters in the site. So it's like, we want to showcase different kinds of animation for the characters. It's not just a character standing there. They're going to be doing things. And just so making sure all of that works. And by the way, it's not just the characters. It's also the items that the characters, that they're holding. It's the staffs. It's the spells. It's the runes. We hand animated every single spell. And the spells look freaking awesome. So just getting all that working has taken a while. And if that wasn't all hard enough, you have to get all of that working on desktop and mobile in every different browser iteration. And so that is a massive undertaking. Not to mention displaying the 3D model on OpenSea. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but
I think you should shut your mouth now.
Okay.
We get it. That's hard. Anyway.
Yeah, no, but there's a good chance we'll have it done next week. No promises. But like, when it is launched, we have some really fun things planned. I'll just tell you right now, we're gonna do a Wizard Wednesday on Cyber. I don't know if you guys know what On Cyber is, but it's freaking fantastic. And we're actually building our own custom space to house, I don't know, like 100 people in there during Wizard Wednesday. I think it's going to be a blast. Everybody's going to be running around as their wizard together in the same space as we're doing Wizard Wednesday. I'm so freaking excited about it. But yeah, I mean, Bear, you love On Cyber. I think you're the one who brought him to us, right?
Yeah. I'm a big believer in On Cyber. I think there's a ton of opportunity there. I mean, for me, it's one thing to make these 3D assets. It's another thing to like have something to do with them, right? And it's great that Nifty Island, it looks amazing. There's other partnerships at the highest level that people are going to be excited about that we can't talk about yet. But there's even some like Fortnite editor type stuff like that we're looking into. But like, what is like the lowest bar possible? We launched this site anyone can download their wizard model and then take that file and drag it into like a browser-based experience and start running around and jumping around as your wizard. That's what OnCyber is, right? And so this idea of like a use case immediately for your wizard to be your wizard in 3D, I think that's really what OnCyber represents. We're going to create an environment within OnCyber that will be able to parallel track with Wizard Wednesday. We have to work through some audio stuff, but imagine like hundreds of us on Cyber, and we're all like just hanging out in a virtual space as our models. Incredible. Imagine, every month we curate a different cult members art collection of wizards or of any of their art, and put that up and display it, and they can talk about why they love it. And it's like this idea of having a virtual space. I think would be really, really fun. And even on Cyber Team, there's some big holders that are on that team, and they want to build out custom functionality. So I think there's a ton of opportunity there.
I would encourage you guys to just go ahead and like start a little gallery in OnCyber right now and just like get a feel for it. It's so good. I'm so impressed with that team. And people are asking what I meant by spells. I mean, if your wizard has a spell in the PFP, then we've made a version of that to display with your 3D character, as the prop or whatever. Okay. Sorry for the heated, impassioned response to not having the website done, but it's I'm just very excited about it, and it's one of the things I'm most excited about for the entire project is just 3D because of everything.
You don't need to apologize.
And part of it, part of what you're wrapping up in like the website, right, is just like we're getting a first look QA onto how everything works, right? Looking at all of the animations, all of the combinations, right? So that's like, yes, it's the website, but it's also just making sure that it's got polished by the time we release it. I think getting the website looking good is because we see this as a way to kind of reintroduce Forgotten Runes to the broader NFT community. So we want it to look awesome.
Exactly. Any more alien comments?
Yeah. Last one. If you could pick one person from humanity to be the delegate for humanity to negotiate with the aliens, you can just pick one. Who would you pick?
Oh, that's a good question.
I have such a good answer, but it's going to infuriate Elf.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say, Bear.
No, but it's not my choice. It's going to be a
profoundly dumb ansser. No, yeah. I have the answer, and nobody can argue with this.
What is it?
Typical Elf.
Mr. Rogers.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Wow. Is he still alive?
You said anyone through history.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't mean to say through history, but I'll accept it. That's a good answer.
Okay. That's a really great answer. I want to do, who's that really great astrophysicist who is just so good at talking about an education?
Carl Sagan?
No, I mean, Carl Sagan's dead.
Carl Sagan. Is his last name Green?
No.
Do you mean like Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah, he's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's cool. He'd be good.
No? Yeah. Urshan says Dave Grohl. Chadabob says Chris Rock.
Yo, Jackie Chan?
Yeah.
Keep him coming.
Yeah. I think a second place would be Steve Irwin.
Why? Yeah, he's dead. R.I.P. Yeah. I mean, I picked Dotta.
Yeah.
Bear,
give an honest answer. You don't have to suck up. He's our business partner.
No, I mean, oh gosh, I want to how about like a mountain lion? And it just mauls the alien.
Wazir wants to pick Theo Vaughn, which you could do worse.
How about Will Smith? Welcome to Earth.
Tiger King, that's a good one.
Buddha, hello. Do you have a question, comment about aliens or anything?
Yo, what's so crazy is I was just watching a video. It was actually a official video from the government debate today where they were releasing information on extraterrestrials. There were a bunch of politicians and governors and high officials asking this like a group of individuals, basically part of the Central Intelligence Agency, about one of the secret programs that they've been running, and that they like openly admitting all of this information, but most of it won't get to the public. But you can find it online. Some of the debates that they've been having about, not even debates, but just they're literally questioning them and they're telling them everything, like putting it all out there. It's just really, really synchronistic how you guys are talking about this, and I just watched a video about that. But yeah.
Well, that is why we're talking
Oh,
about
it is?
it, because because the U.S. I believe is going through a mass hysteria, a UFO mass hysteria at the moment. But yeah, Buddha, do you, if you could choose a person in history to be the sort of diplomat to represent the human race, who would you choose?
Hermes Trismegistus, bro. I'll go with Hermes.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
I love Hermes. Just everything about the
Yeah.
knowledge he shares and his philosophy. It's really that. Either him or the second, I think, will go back to like Thoth, which Thoth is actually a being that incarnated multiple times throughout, history in the earth itself. So really deep, but
Yeah.
him.
We should do a whole Wizard Wednesday on Hermes Trismegistus for sure. Dotta, did you say anyone? I can't remember.
I was gonna pick Bear.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
You guys.
No, you didn't let me pick Dotta, so my choice is a mountain lion. I want to get an alien in there and then put a mountain lion in there, and then it would probably start into a planetary war. But I think it would be funny.
Okay, so I'm glad that we all agree that I was right. Mr. Rogers is the greatest human envoy for this job.
Yeah,
mountain lion close second.
Mr. Rogers would be great. There haven't been any like scandals coming out about Mr. Rogers, right? Nothing hidden in the closet.
That's the crazy thing, which is no, not that I know of. He's like the one person
great
ever who's just clean as a whistle.
Let me in his house. I'll find something. Let me in his house. I'll find something.
Yeah, great Bear. Destroy humanity's last hope.
Yeah, thanks. Come on, just stick to the mountain lion.
Okay, fine. I keep imagining that padded room with an alien on one side, and then they just let a mountain lion in there, and it just jumps on it and starts eating it. I think that would just be so funny.
Yeah, that's real funny, Bear.
Oh, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to close up.
Yeah, start the music.
The cult is choosing Cosmic Nightjar, which I think that's definitely a better pick than a mountain lion. So.
Yeah, she would do great.
She would.
Yeah, Kaz would be perfect. How about Kaz with a mountain lion?
Okay, enough, Bear. Enough.
Riding a mountain lion.
All right. What a ridiculous Wizard Wednesday this was. Tune in next week where we talk about quick
aliens,
werewolves.
Wait! Wasn't Buddha Alpha Healing Sounds going to play us out a tune?
Wait, what?
I don't know. Do you have a tune for us? Can you play the Wizard song again?
The Wizard song?
What are you talking about?
You guys, when you were not here, when I ran Wizard Wednesday all by myself, by the way, Buddha Alpha Healing Sounds closed out Wizard Wednesday with a wizard song, and it was really wonderful. Maybe, I don't know if he's ready to do it today.
Definitely.
But maybe we should find out.
I'm with it. I could definitely play something.
All right.
Fantastic.
Go for it, Buddha.
Great.
All right. I have a question for you guys, though. And it's one thing. Should I do a single or a double?
A double.
Always a double.
I don't even know what that means. Exactly. Like play two songs at once?
It's a surprise.
Okay.
So let me just make sure this is ready to go here. This is just a little tuning.
Oh, let's go. Is this a recorder?
All righty. Let me turn this off so there's no background.
This is awesome.
I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
You guys need to mute. Give him the floor. Mute.
Okay.
This is some 432 hertz flute. on Buddha Alpha Healing Sounds. I've been a musician for about 16 years and practicing sound healing for about 5 years. Actually 6 now that I'm 26, but it's a little bit of a 432 hertz flute in the key of A. This is also a drone flute. Many blessings.
Wow.
Holy what?
So that's what we missed last week. Amazing.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Wow.
This has been Elf Dotta Bearsnake playing the flute and maybe some aliens. Who knows? Channeling out from the Quantum Downs. Gin, everybody.